puri kelapa.
Check it out. Yeah, if we got leaders late, then everyone else is going to be late too. All right, let's go ahead and roll this out. How you doing over there?
Yeah, I just arrived and just finished meeting with owner.
Oh, okay. All right. What did the owner want to meet about?
There's a new. He want to join with us. There's a new partner in Uluwatu.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go ahead and take a look at. Let's see. Where is the discussion this month? So let's roll over here. All right. Let's take a look at what we're doing. Where's the leadership go? Okay. Okay. I guess we should consider ourselves lucky. It seems like a lot of people are sick right now. Okay. All right. Let me move over the mic. Let's see. How's the base situation in Canggu going?
For the base in Canggu. So now, before I found some place in Canggu
Yeah.
that supposed to be the base, but since there is like some different expectation from my team, so I asked my team for write the expectation on the list base. So what they need like just only the office or need with the like a like a bedroom like a house or what because if like some team like concern is like they can sleep also in Canggu, and then some team just need like just the office, yeah, because yeah, if we have new team, if we have the like a bedroom so we can put there, but is if there's like some people just need the office because they already have house in Bali. So I want to like merge the expectation. So find what is the expectation from the team to for the base in Canggu.
Okay. I think just keep it simple.
Hmm.
Too many chefs can really delay the dish. Um, just space, I guess, for two people for
Yeah.
sleeping and working. So doesn't need to. It's just the first base, anyways. It's not like the first base will get us to the next base. Okay, welcome in, Alvin. Thanks for coming. Let's try to start a leadership guild on time. It's sort of something that I've noticed. Everyone is progressively getting a little bit more late and late to just about everything. So on time would be a good metric. Okay, I just caught up with Tendi on some chit chat on the Changgu base, and let's see, where are we going now? Okay, this is a discussion. I'll go over to Ara in a little bit. Let's wait for all the other people to come in first. But Ara's actually discovered a new OKR method using the SMART checklist, and we've also tied in some additional metrics with career stage, which should be helpful for setting better OKRs for the future. As Tendi and Alvin are both here, one of the things I'd like to do, perhaps starting this month, is I'd like to delegate to you guys who you think deserve individual bonuses. You guys are in a position where there's much more visibility, and the individual bonus is a component of control I want to actually share with the squad leads over the development of your teammates. So let's open up that discussion first. What do you guys think about that? Let's go over to Tendi first.
Yes. So I think that's a good idea as well because we know how's our team work as well, and
Yeah.
then more visibility, and then we also can track every week because they will update on the squatching up. Also, we know the progress and then the result as well. So if the goal of the person is like a using the smart method and with relevant and then achievable, maybe we can release the bonus. But yeah, if there is no progress, maybe yeah we can spending or not giving.
Okay. All
There
right.
is no.
Sounds interesting. Thank you for sharing, Tendi. Let's go to Alvin. Alvin, what do you think about that? If we delegate, let's say, individual bonuses to the squad lead.
I think that will be more, yeah, basically because we are on the squad, we know better about the performance.
Yeah.
But first of all, I want to ask a bit of questions, sir. How
Yeah.
you actually usually calculate for the individual bonus itself?
It's getting more and more difficult, Alvin, because I'm further away from the people who actually do the work. Typically, I look to see if there is any. First is, did you set up an OKR? If you don't set up an OKR, then there is no discussion about a bonus because it means that you are kind of unguided for that particular month. The second question is, are you making, I guess, genuine progress towards um, achieving your OKR. And I've been sort of generous, I guess, in the past, meaning if I see that there's honest progression towards, going towards the OKR, I'll generally release it. But if there's, let's say, recurring behaviors or things that lack of ownership, lack of LI, I guess, then I usually hold back the bonus as a communication tool to really like emphasize you need to have these qualities about your work before you can get the bonus. Moving forward in the future, I think that it is a good tool for leads to be able to send a message essentially to their teammates. I don't think a bonus should be a given. I think it should be earned, and it should be something that, let's say, we see a performance standard associated with. So I guess each squad lead can decide what they would like to see in terms of that as being part of it. Let's maybe do this. Maybe like in the first few months, we'll do it together, right? So you give a recommendation, and then I will also check on the recommendation. But moving into the forward into the future, once you get your own evaluation style done, then I think we can just delegate it to squad leads and chapter leads. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Welcome in, Bayou. How you doing? Are you feeling better there?
Yeah, yeah, already.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Ara is supposed to be here to explain to us her smart method, but now she's out already. I think both Tendi and Alvin have already distributed that method to their teams yet, right? Bayou, have you started using Smart for OKRs?
Actually, it's from the beginning. So on the first, yeah. So on the introduction to OKR paper in the beginning, it's actually using exactly that method.
Okay.
It just yeah, it just that at at that time we don't have any idea what an OKR is. So we just want people to make an OKR, whether
Mhm.
it's basically very basic, then that is fine.
Okay.
Then yeah, then it started to like basically we still accept anything that like even just an activity, right?
Right.
So yeah, so then we yeah probably just need another publication about how to make a good OKR. So that's pretty good.
Okay. The innovation here by you is essentially a template. So essentially, it makes it less um, work for scaling the company. So you don't have to explain these things to every new person. There's a element of self valuation and also self. It's a common language then we can approach. Ara, okay, over to you. Is there you did a presentation on Smart the other day? Is there anything that you'd like to concisely share here at the Leadership Guild about how to define these OKRs?
Okay, so would you guys like to see the slide?
Yeah, but just really briefly, I think we kind of understand the idea. I just want you to share it since you had this resurgence and we created a kind of a new format based on your suggestion.
Okay. Okay, so basically, the brief background on why I started to concern about the template of making a new OKR is because a lot of people come to me and said that sometimes I stuck with ideas on what to do this month with OKR, and also some of them also said that I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing in the terms that I'm doing activities within months, but I don't know if it's really aligned with the squad's needs or with the company's wide needs. So that I decided to make like a default to just like make what is it? Yeah, exactly, a template. So like a guidance for each team member to actually have like more focus and clearer OKR every single month. And as maybe some of you already heard about the SMART method before, it's just that there's an additional metrics beside the SMART. So beside using like checking our each OKR, whether it's already specific, measurable, and else, there's also like the career metrics. So like you guys know, there's this like competency, leaderships, and involvement, right? So like there's PCE, PCI, LI, things like that. So beside we're using the smart checklist, we also have like that career metrics checklist. So whether your OKR is included as an LI or PCC or PCI, then it's also the use for using the career metrics basically to trace your own self growth. So it's also the background is because there are a lot of people that having a promotion review had a difficulties on tracing evidences, and also some people are having like not clear what is it not clear self growth, like what did I do exactly, am I like grow moving forward or backwards exactly. So by using that checklist, people can actually easily trace that, okay, so back on January I actually do PCI, and then in February I'm doing this. So then since everyone is responsible for their own growth, it will be easier for them to tracing their self. And yeah, so basically that's both things that needed in the creation of OKR itself.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Nara, for explaining that. Okay, so we have these new OKR templates, and is there any objection from anybody to use these? Okay, no objections. Is there any support to use these? Does it make actually scaling the employee base, keeping everybody aligned, making it easier to promote people, making it easier to evaluate people's work? Does it provide any benefit in those dimensions? Okay, all right. Bayu agrees. Tendi, what do you think? Okay, Tendi agrees.
I agree.
Okay, Deepa Nangli?
Sorry, we're a little bit late. We had a bit of a discussion for DMMB. But with regards to your question, this is a new template that we're testing out. Am I right?
Yes. So I think.
That it already works or not if we haven't tested it yet.
Okay. I don't know if this information has reached over to Diva. And wait, Diva, you know about the new template, right? Okay. Got it. So Nangli, do you know about the new template?
I've briefly heard about it.
Okay. Let's get you up to speed.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the other discussions that we had just before you came in, Nungli, was in the future, I'd really like to delegate the individual bonus to chapter and also to squad leads. Currently, I'm in a position where I struggle seeing people's work. I'm not involved in people's day-to-day activities. So one of the things I think we just sort of had a tacit agreement on was every month, I think we're going to need a recommendation from the squad and the chapter leads about who should actually get the full bonus. And in the first few months, I'll probably walk alongside, and we'll decide whether or not we all agree on what the metric of a bonus, should be paid or not paid should be. But moving into the future, I would like to give that actually as more independence to people who have more direct relationships with their reports. Okay, so let's just make sure we're all on the same page. And this is the reason why I think, and thank you, Ara, for bringing this up. This goes into the idea of sharpening the saw. So one of, you could say, the tooth of the saw of our entire organization is the OKR. If we don't have really clear OKRs, we don't have sharp OKRs, it's really hard to actually get alignment and projects done and missions done and achieve our vision. So the sharpest part of the OKR is actually the sharpest part of the organization is the OKR. And one of the things that drives, let's say, progress and development of employees is the idea of being promoted and progressing along your career. We've seen that statistically also in HR. The more times you're promoted, the more times you move around through your job, the more likely you're going to stay at the company. So that helps with employee retention too as well. Okay, so we want to reduce this confusion that people have of where am I in the career matrix. And there's people maybe who are at different stages in the company who have different understandings. So as long as we make it something that's regular, you do this 12 times a year, so you should have pretty good knowledge of what it is. This is what the checklist will look like now. So there'll be a checklist to self-evaluate, but also anybody else can also evaluate if your OKRs are done correctly. Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they achievable? Are they relevant? And are they timely? So that's a self-check that can also be checked by anybody looking at the content of the OKRs. Also, to raise awareness and understanding and make a promotion review easier, we simply just look at the OKR and see, have you actually done any work that is of the qualities that we expect for a promotion? And so this also simplifies and it kind of drums in a regular understanding of the career progression too as well. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to I started with the leads and the chapters, but we really want to roll this out to the February OKRs so that everybody in the company can use these. And I think this is a unanimous improvement over the previous OKRs, which were much more freeform and less specific. Okay, can we all agree on using this new template then? Okay, great. All right, thank you, Ara. Appreciate that. So this is Ara's innovation, and it is a response to a problem that we had been noticing on the HR side. Okay, let's talk about sharpening the saw. So the idea of sharpening the saw is something that I saw with the 7 habits of highly effective people. It's habit number 7. So one of the things they talk about, it was like this mid-90s book about how to be more effective. But one of the really good things is I notice a lot of our processes and the things we do, it can be as simple as understanding a keyboard shortcut on your computer to having a correct project management approach to being able to correctly delegate. If you're not doing these things, let's say, correctly, then you're sort of cutting down the tree with a dull saw. And every time you take a stroke, it's just kind of like a waste, and you spend so much time in vain. So February traditionally is a low season, and so instead of kind of spacing out and not really thinking too much about what we want to do, I think now is a good time to sharpen the saw. So the thing that I thought would be a good practice is this. So here's what I want to bring everyone's attention to. So the question is, how do we actually get everybody in the company to sharpen their saws? Now, we are probably at a different position, and we have different sort of teeth on our saws than people who just started. Maybe like Alvin or Lucky or some other people who just entered the company. But I think we should think about, like, how do we get this behavior to go across the company? And we should probably also ask, what saws do we want to sharpen? What is it that we specifically want to do? And then the third question I have is, how long do we want to spend doing it? The whole point of sharpening the saw is to kind of reduce a little bit more time on doing what we regularly do, spend a little bit more time on how do we get to that version where we can do it really well, yeah, and save that interest. Okay, and then the last question I have is, how do we actually know if your saw is actually sharp? So this is just an analogy, of course. We're not really sharpening saws. And if you came in with a sharpened saw at the end of the month, I would laugh at you. But okay, so are there any other questions that we need to ask about the theme of February? Okay, I'll give a few seconds for questions. Okay, if there's no questions, then let's begin. So one of the things that I thought I could do is I just came in with a template so we have a basis for discussion. I think one of the things that we've talked about a few times is what is our hospitality like, right? So I think the first aspect of sharpening that saw is customer service. What are we going to do to provide better customer service? And who should actually learn this too as well? I'm starting with the people in this group, but once you have this sort of information, then I would encourage you guys to distribute to your squads and chapters, okay? So first off, I just want to ask, with the people in this room, who wants to actually get better at customer service as part of their initiatives in February? Okay, all right, that's Nung Lee, very good. And Tendi and Alvin, yeah? Okay, all right, great. Okay, so I'll select those names. All right, let's go to project management. Who wants to get better at project management as one of their initiatives in February? Okay, that's Deba and Tendi and Alvin. Okay, Deba, Tendi, and Alvin. Okay, great. Next one is about uh, advertising and marketing. Advertising and marketing is kind of a new field, but it's also pretty important as we scale larger too as well. And it's something that we can really sharpen on. Does anybody want to actually pick that up and learn more about advertising and marketing? And okay, so that's Diva and Nung Lee. Okay, very good. Okay, and this is one of our. Oh, sorry. That's the wrong field. Let me redo that.
Why you strike my name out immediately?
What?
You immediately. It was no. I was just kidding. I was just kidding.
What's your name wrong? What? It's okay. All right. That's the Ara. Ara, is that a question? Or?
Yeah, guys. No, I'm just like to excuse because I'm at school right now. I need to meet my
Okay.
lecture. So can I be please excused
Yeah,
from the
thank you
meeting?
for coming in.
Okay.
The contribution.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Great. Okay. Let's go to persuasion and negotiation. Anybody want to get better at persuasion negotiation? All right, Bayou. Yes. Okay. Remember, persuasion can be also internal as well as external. It can be getting more people to join your guilds, or like I don't know, like getting more owners, getting your colleagues to agree with your ideas. Okay, so Bayou and is that Nungli too, or
No, I just wanted to say for me, the customer service is actually I see clients and prospects as also customers.
okay,
Not
all
so
right, interesting. Okay, in that sense, yeah. Oh, that's a good way to see it, actually. I never saw it that way, but okay. All right, very good. Um, Great. Okay, so only Bayou for persuasion and negotiation. Let's go to recruiting. Anybody want to get better at recruiting? I would also okay, good. Recruiting, I do not think is just exclusively a HR job. I mean, that's HR is sort of the mouth of recruiting, but I think recruiting, if we really want to get good, it needs to come from all touch points of the company too, as well. Okay, these are the main areas where I can actually be of some help. Does anybody have any other subjects that they want to get better at? I talked to Bayou before, and he's got some software development and machine learning things that he wants to do, right? Okay, all right, cool. So we got software and ML. Okay, cool. Not making love, but machine learning. That was a joke. I'm glad everybody laughed at that. Okay, is there any other subjects that people would want to develop some skill sets in? Let's go individually. Alvin, what would you imagine to be the way that you can sharpen your saw? Alvin's paused. Alvin, over to you. Okay, Alvin seems not there. Okay, let's go over to Tendi. Tendi, is there anything else that you'd imagine that would sharpen your saw?
Hmm, delegation.
Okay, delegation, part of leadership and probably project management. Is it in the context of project management or is it in the context of operation?
I think it's more on project management.
Operations, yeah? Okay. Okay, delegation is important. It is actually a full skill by itself. I can see many times where it comes into play. Okay, Tendi wants to get better at delegation. Great. Anybody else? Okay, just Tendi. Yeah? All right. Why is it all three? Okay, Alvin, anything on your side? I seem to have gotten back in touch with Alvin. Nope. Just... Alvin, is there a bit of a lag or not sure? Oh, connection sucks. Okay. Okay, got it. Let's go to Diba and Nungli. Besides these subjects, is there any other areas that you guys would like to include?
You wanna go?
Probably like it's a pronunciation, but I think it shouldn't be the end goal. The end goal is just like to support the
Yeah.
especially marketing will be okay.
Okay. Diva, I'll need you to say that again. Your voice came through a little bit muffled.
Oh shit. Okay. I was just about to say website optimization. I don't think that's necessary because it's just a tool to again for the bigger purpose, and I think advertising and marketing should
Okay.
cover that already. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. So let's focus on these. Once again, we have the question of how much time do you actually have to do this, right? And that's very personal depending upon each person. Try not to oversubscribe. It's better to do one thing and get that done better than to kind of be mediocre at a few things, okay? All right. So here's where the connection starts happening. I would like to have a potluck where essentially if you can find a resource that you can bring to this table, please start filling this table in. So I've brought in some resources that I know about that will help with different things, right? On negotiation, I've seen some pretty good material in Masterclass and also on LinkedIn Learning that is quite effective and fundamental to actually negotiating well. So these are my two little contributions I'd like to bring in. On advertising, we just got the masterclass from Jeff Goodby and Rich Silverstein. They did a bunch of major ads like the Budweiser campaign and these very iconic advertisements. So really good material and really good ideas about how to create ads, which we do frequently, that captivate attention. Leadership and entrepreneurship, I've got these materials on NPR that is very, very good. And it shares basically how people develop different companies and the struggles that they face. This is good for anybody undergoing the daily leadership challenges that we face. Developing managers, more materials on LinkedIn, and also coaching skills, more materials on LinkedIn. And this one I shared with Nung Lee because we had some debates about design and how design can influence the price of an Airbnb. And so after I watched this show, it was a Netflix show. It was really revealing. They take the same home and then they redesign it, and they pretty much show how much more money you can get by having an improved design and improved guest experience through the design. So I think there's a bit of learning from understanding. The learning is not Netflix. I guess the learning is maybe like design and marketing. Yeah. Okay. So I need you guys' help to actually start assembling this potluck, so to speak, right? Please go out and if you have any materials that you think would be helpful to engage in helping your teammates learn about recruiting, persuasion, software, ML, just start adding it here, right? Adding it onto this table. And after we populate this, it's like a potluck. Then we can start feeding from it. Maybe Bayou has some classes on something that I don't know. Maybe Bayou has, or maybe Tendi has some learning. And it can be either online, offline, or maybe you can teach it yourself. And that would be good. Okay? Does that sound like a pretty good idea? Yeah? Okay, great. So we need to kind of work relatively quickly on this because we're sending the OKRs by tomorrow, actually, but definitely before the all hands, I think, on Monday for the company. So as quickly as you can, please just start contributing what resources you have. Once we have the resources, then we can set learning pathways for everybody on what they would like to do. Okay? All right, great stuff. How is this in terms of a pathway? Does anybody have any questions or any, I don't know, any sort of things that we need to discuss?
Sorry, what do you mean by in terms of the pathway?
Right. So let's say, for example, this, right? This is kind of like a potluck. So
Yeah.
Tendi wants to learn about project management, and Tendi, Alvin, and Deba want to learn about project management. So if you know of any resource that can help them learn about project management, please bring it to this potluck over here, right? So this is kind of like the pool of resources that we'll have. So the more resources that we have, the easier it is for Tendi, Deba, and Alvin to create a pathway. So once we have all the resources, then we can say, all right, we'll spend an hour to watch this class or to have this discussion. We can have essentially a framework for learning that thing. But the very first thing we need are resources. Yes, to Nungli.
Is this designed to do group learning or is this solo individual learning?
Ideally, yes. I think if you have, let's say, a common goal with other people, this is a really good opportunity to do group learning. Parts of these resources, I think, should be studied independently. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to sit together and watch videos together for an hour, but it might actually make sense for us to watch the videos before a certain day and then get together for discussions and talk about like what you learned and mutually quiz each other and gain mutual understanding. Like, I'll give you an example to make this a little bit more concrete. Let's work through that. Let's work through in like a concrete example. For example, if Tendi wants to learn about project management, then what I can contribute to this potluck is this. I'll go over here to LinkedIn. I have this already picked up. Now, everybody who has access to the Bukit Vista profile on Gmail has access to this resource. So it's LinkedIn Learning. It's through my LinkedIn Premium account, and this is the course that actually talks about project management. It's very very detailed, and I just watched it, and it's very high quality. It basically talks about things like critical path, lean agile iteration, and each sub lesson is only about 4 to 5 minutes long. So they're very snackable. You can just kind of watch this while you're, I don't know, on the toilet or doing whatever, right? It's not even like a big commitment. So after, let's say everyone watches these, then we can get together and we can say, hey, did you learn about how to set milestones and what is the best way to set a milestone? How do you plan a realistic schedule? How do we document the baseline? We currently have a lot of resources out there in Nungli. We have Masterclass, we have LinkedIn Learning, we have maybe private libraries, and that Bayou has, or maybe there's some knowledge that Rafik and Tendi have, practical advice. Maybe Nungli has her resources too. But it's the question of how do we distribute these resources and learn together that creates this effect. So in a way, it would be starting some mini guilds. In fact, that could be one format to learn it. So you can just get together with your project management mini guild and summarize it. Yeah, have you watched this? And what is it that we want to talk about this week? And work through this course. So by the end of the month, you can say, yeah, we are 200% better at project management because we know how to actually approach project management in a comprehensive way. Make sense? Okay, great stuff. Okay, but step one is to assemble the resources. If you don't have any resources, that's fine. I think by Monday, let's collect what we have, and then afterwards we can start setting pathways for each area that we want to learn in. Sound good? Okay, all right. Let's go over to Bayou. Bayou, you got some exotic ideas that you want to test out. What are the learnings that you want to do?
What do you mean?
So you want to do like Kubernetes and Docker and machine learning and what was the other one that you had discussed with me privately?
Oh, yeah. So basically, the closest one is it's called regression unit testing.
Okay.
So that is automatic testing on software development, basically. So whenever we build something, we don't need to test as human. Basically, we don't need to click on this, click on that to make sure it works. But we just run the code, and then if the code return everything is good, then it means good. So I want to learn that in order to make sure that especially that's a normal unit testing, but what I want to learn is the regression. Regression it means backwards compatible. Basically, if in version 1 we make some functionality, then we add another functionality in version 2. So we need to make sure that all the functionality in version 1 also working in version 2 as well. So the new functionality on version 2 did not disrupt the functionality in version 1.
So this means better, bigger.
No, not necessarily. It's easier quality measurement.
Okay. Got it. Who else do
Yeah.
you want to bring along with you on this learning pathway? Do you think this would be a good distribution to the interns?
Mm,
The computer science hire that we're about to make.
not sure if actually I'd like to bring Dan, our internal
Okay.
tools, our programmer candidate.
Okay, sounds good then. Let's go ahead and put you. Would you like to be the project champion of this particular learning set?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right, Bayu, and he will distribute it to Dan. Okay, great.
Mhm.
So right now, the next thing I want to decide is who wants to be the project champion of each topic. For let's say customer service, do we have any? Do we have any volunteers who wants to do for customer service? Okay, all right. Do we have any nominations for somebody who should be the project champion for that? Okay, since since Tendi is here,
Okay.
since Tendi is here, I'd like to nominate Tendi because I think customer service is something that will most applicable to improving the hospitality scores and actually getting more guests to be delighted and more partners to be delighted. So let me go over to Tendi. Tendi, will you accept the nomination?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. All right, Tendi, who do you want to bring with you on this learning journey?
In this table or outside?
Yeah, who would you like to
Uh,
influence?
I will ask Nengi because we can do like a guest and then try and partner.
Okay. Nung Lee, and I guess, do you want to bring Alvin too? Because he also wants to learn this too as well.
Okay,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. Okay. Is there anybody else outside of this group that you'd like to also bring with you on this learning journey?
Chandra,
Okay, Chandra.
customer service.
Anybody else?
Maybe Alvin have any suggestion?
Is there anybody that you'd like to bring on this learning journey?
For customer service, I want to bring Dominic actually.
Dominic, yeah. Okay. All right. It's okay. Don't try to bring too many people. You're going to bring some people, and then your delegates will bring newer people across on newer things. So it shouldn't be too heavy, right? It shouldn't be like you're bringing up everyone. Okay, great. We have a project champion for customer service and also for software and ML now. On project management, is there anybody who would like to actually take the point on project management? Okay, we have no.
I nominate Diba.
Nominate Deba. Okay, Deba has been nominated. Deba, do you accept the nomination?
Yep, Mas Fendi.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Thank you, Deba. All right, Deba, who would you like to bring along with you on this journey?
Project management. Fendi and Alvin, of course.
Okay, Tendi and Alvin? Mhm.
I also want to bring my two boys. Actually,
Okay, so you want to bring the boys. That's Gani and Rizal, yeah? Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Next one is advertising and marketing. Thank you. Okay, so we have a complete group for project management. Next one is advertising and marketing. Now, you're beginning to see actually the best efforts of prioritization now, right? So we've already got Diva leading on project management. Okay, so on this one, I would like to nominate Meng Lee. Or do we have any volunteers?
Why you laugh? So earlier we were discussing because Diva and I are both in the same roles, right? We thought that advertising and marketing would be Diva would take it, and it makes more sense for me to take recruiting.
Do you want to switch?
Oh, do we want to switch? So Diva takes on, so then you take recruiting, and then I take advertising.
and then I will ask like, what's the expectation of the PC right here? Like, come up with the resource and distribute, or
Well, it's up to you guys. If you guys want to switch, that's fine. But if not, then we'll. Okay. All right. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. Okay.
my question is actually what PC actually means here. Is it like only like
Ah,
come up with the
What's
source,
the role?
come up with the
you
source, or
very good, very good.
or or meaning that is their current priority that want to
Okay,
learn.
very good. Okay, so how do we sharpen the saw? Is the question, right? Okay, how we sharpen the saw? I would
No,
say this. Does anybody have any ideas on how we can do this? What is the responsibility?
that's not what I meant.
No, you want me
No,
to answer?
we're discussing about the PC, right?
Yes.
And then I asked what's this PC means in here. Like, is it like come up with the resource and distribute, or like that means that point of learning is their priority of learning?
Okay. I think it means that you're essentially the teacher. Yeah. So you
Oh,
essentially are going to. You can be the student teacher, like the way that you and I were, Diva, when we were finding out about digital marketing. So it just simply means that you will collect the materials. You'll develop like a pathway for people to learn, and then you'll develop also a checklist to see if everybody has learned this particular subject well. So essentially, it's almost like being a TA, I guess, in that if anybody has been a TA. So as a PC, I would say design the course, right? So we're going to harvest the material from LinkedIn, from Masterclass, from whatever. But like, okay, let me give myself as an example. If I'm going to PC, let's say project management, my first job would be to collect all the materials that are quality materials on project management. So it could be videos, whatever. And then what I'll do to make it easy for everyone is I'll preview it. So I'll watch it all. I'll just kind of scan through it, and I'll find what is the most relevant material that my team needs to understand. And then I will distribute it, saying, hey, look, I want you guys to watch this, read that, and then we're going to meet on this day, and we're going to have a discussion about these topics. And afterwards, maybe a quiz or a way of just making sure that the knowledge has been reinforced, and maybe some practice too. Like we'll just make a mini project, and you guys can develop a timeline, and so that we have essentially distributed the learning. That's what I would do as a PC. Sound good?
So, Jing, so back to
Yes.
the whole earlier part of this conversation. You asked us what do we want to learn and focus on this month, right? So, like, I guess between for me, I would say between advertising and marketing. So this is a bit of conflict for me, right? So my background is in advertising and marketing. So but I would like to learn more, right, in this context of Indonesia. However,
Yeah.
it is not main priority for in terms of learning. Recruiting would be my first priority.
Ah. Well,
Mm.
I guess you can be
How
both. You
are
can
you
be
learning
a
right now?
student in some classes led by others, and you can also be a teacher in some by others. So let's say Nungli says she's in advertising and marketing. I think you should be the project champion in that case. Then you can bring others along for that. So
Yeah.
and then you can be a student in the courses that you want to learn in. So that can be a trade off, right, between each case.
Okay.
Okay, so then I would like to nominate because Nungli has a background in advertising and marketing. Nungli can actually. I'd like to nominate Nungli to be the project champion to bring us through that. Would Nungli want to accept that? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So that's that. And Nungli, I guess you're bringing Diba along because Diba's registered that she wants to do it. Is there anybody else that you think would benefit from understanding about advertising and marketing?
Michael and Dio.
Michael and Dio, right? Okay, fun.
And Benna.
Vanna, okay, very good.
And I think this could benefit your two boys, but I don't know if they'll be keen to learn. I mean, not keen, but like you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who's the
I don't know what you mean. Oh, wait, they don't want to learn about advertising and marketing?
No, I mean maybe not yet. Like they're interested, but maybe bandwidth issues, right? So
I think it's core
yeah,
to
the
content.
two boys.
Okay, you guys decide. That's up to you guys. Okay, Persuasion and negotiation. I guess that's just on Bayou. Hey, Bayou, I'll PC that. Yeah, I'm a pretty persuasive person. I got you guys all to work at Bukit Vista, so that's some that's some persuasion. I guess. So and Bayou and I will practice. I guess we can practice on equity shares or something. Like Bayou will try to persuade me to give more equity shares to him, and I'll try to persuade him to accept less or something. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, all right. So, but I think this is also something I'd actually like to bring on board. I'd like to bring Wayana on board in that. Actually, she's pretty persuasive already. I don't know if she needs any more help, but it could be good. And I'd like to bring Nungli if she wants to come along also too as well on persuasion, which is good. Okay, recruiting. Deba and Nungli are there. Does anybody want to PC recruiting? Nope.
I don't consider myself a expert on this, so
We might not have an expert on this yet. I'm learning myself.
I got the biggest turnover here between you guys. So
Well, it also means you've had the most experience too. So that's good. You have the most experience in difficult recruiting. Let's see. Okay, maybe we don't have anybody yet on that one. Okay, let's continue then. Wait, I forgot to put Nungli here. Nungli's on this one. Okay, software and ML, that's Bayou. And on delegation, wow. Okay, Tendi is the sole person interested in delegation. Tendi, I guess you have to lead yourself then on that particular note. Or maybe
I'll join this one.
Oh, you want to show that one? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. Okay, and then. Oh wait. Yeah, Alvin, you've had a lot of experience doing this practically, right?